Teacher Talking Sports, what it does, what it do, how we live. And we are 2 short days away from the national championship game between the Michigan Wolverines and the Washington Huskies. So maybe you haven't been paying attention while the playoffs still going on. With the amount of players entering the transfer portal, many of them already announcing their new schools. So in this video, I'm going to take a look at 10 notable quarterbacks that have already entered the transfer portal and will be playing for a new school in 2024. These aren't the only 10. There's others I didn't include, and there's others still in the transfer portal. But I'll name the 10 I'm including in alphabetical order by last name, starting with Dylan Gabriel, played last season for Oklahoma, will be a member of the Oregon Ducks. Of course, Bo Nix's eligibility has expired. Gabriel had an excellent season this year for the Oklahoma Sooners, throwing for 3,660 yards, 30 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. For his career, 14,865 yards and 125 passing touchdowns compared to just 26 interceptions, also 26 rushing touchdowns. Will Howard will be joining Ohio State from Kansas State. Another Ohio State quarterback from last year will be shown later on this list as he's moving to another school. But Howard spent the past 4 years with Kansas State, one more year of eligibility. Last season, completed 61.3% of his passes, 2,643 yards, 24 touchdowns, and 10 interceptions. Also had 9 rushing touchdowns the previous season. He helped guide Kansas State to a Big 12 championship victory. KJ Jefferson will be joining UCF after previously playing for the Arkansas Razorbacks. This past season, Jefferson completed 64.2% of his passes, 2,107 yards, 19 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. He was actually better in the previous 2 years, higher completion percentage, and in those 2 seasons combined for 45 touchdown passes to just 9 interceptions. Sam Hartman's eligibility is done, so Riley Leonard is transferring from Duke to the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. Leonard played in just 7 games this past season, 57.6 completion percentage, 3 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, also 4 rushing touchdowns. But last season, 2022, was fully healthy and has an excellent season for the Blue Devils, completing 63.8% of his passes, 20 passing touchdowns, 6 INTs, and 13 rushing touchdowns. Grayson McCall, the 2020, the 2021, and the 2022 Sun Belt Player of the Year with Coastal Carolina, is moving on to NC State. Now, he had some time injured this past year as well. Completed 67.4% of his passes for 1,919 yards, 10 touchdowns, and 6 interceptions. But from 2020 to 2022, in those 3 seasons, he combined to throw for 77 touchdown passes and just 8 interceptions. Kyle McCord, the aforementioned former Ohio State quarterback, he is moving on to Syracuse. Now, they could have made the college football playoff. McCord was the starting quarterback. If they had beaten Michigan, they did not. So finished 11-1 as the starter this past year. 3,170 passing yards, 24 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. Previous that, he was behind C.J. Stroud. Did not get that much action. Dante Moore, he was the number 2 prospect for the class of 2023. Went to UCLA, where he had some struggles. Split the quarterback position, and in his 9 games, completed just 53.5% of his passes, 1,610 yards, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, shared the time with Ethan Garbers. He actually committed to Oregon out of high school prior to committing to UCLA. Well, now he will be there, but likely will be the backup to Dillon Gabriel next season. Chandler Rogers. Rogers played last season for North Texas after previously playing for Louisiana Monroe. He will be moving on to Cal. What a season it was for Rogers as he completed 62.2% of his passes, 3,382 yards, 29 passing touchdowns, just 5 interceptions, also 4 rushing touchdowns. In his 2 years with Louisiana Monroe, he combined for 24 passing touchdowns and 12 interceptions. Washington will be playing for the national championship, but Michael Pennock will be moving on to the NFL come next season, so that he will be replaced by Will Rogers, one of the all-time leading pass yardagers in SEC history, as he's thrown for 12,315 yards in his 4 years with Mississippi State, 94 touchdowns, 28 interceptions, played in just 8 games this season. But if you look at 2021 and 2022, those seasons he combined for 71 passing touchdowns to just 17 interceptions. And let's end with a guy that I always have a hard time pronouncing his last name. That is DJ Uiagalelei. I hope I pronounced that right. I always struggle. I'm sure a lot of people do. Started his career with Clemson last season, played for Oregon State this year. This upcoming season, he will be playing for the Seminoles. With his 1 year with Oregon State, completed 57.1% of his passes, 2,638 yards, 21 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Also ran for 6 touchdowns. His last year at Clemson in 2022, threw for 22 touchdowns and ran for 7 touchdowns. So those are 10 notable quarterbacks that will be playing for different schools come next season. There are others I could have included, like Tyler Van Dyke and E.J. Warner, the son of Kurt Warner, Daquan Finn, A.J. Swan, just to name a few. Others as well. Malik Murphy started some games for Texas this season. So let me know your thoughts. Who do you think will have the biggest impact for their new school come next season? Sure, there'll be more notable names that will have changed schools as the transfer portal continues to take shape in the upcoming off season. Anyhow, don't forget to subscribe. Tell a friend to tell a friend to tell a friend to subscribe. Like the video, share the video, hit the bell for notifications. I'm out.